VC here. Hi guys and gals. Well, for those of you who've just watched the video before, I mentioned a little teaser. The Spooky University topic of this week was talking about fears that you have conquered. Let me just move that back a little bit. Here we are. Okay, fears that one has conquered. Well, I think that one fear that I could say, if one could call it a fear, or have learned how to act in situations, is to, for example, public talking, or like if some of you have seen, I danced on the stage where I was pulled up in front, and frankly, not a bad job. And or in Africa, where I was also called to dance in front of people which actually have rhythm like mad, or give a talk and things like that. And that's a type of fear that one actually has to master as well. Now, it might seem strange, but talking alone in a camera like we do on YouTube actually does have something to do with that. You can be alone in front of a camera and actually be very shy and self-conscious. And so getting over that type of fear is something. But I think what happens is that if you have done a little bit of theater or play acting or stuff like that, you do know that basically, I'm not going to say it's all a game, but it's kind of like it's real and not real. I don't know exactly how to say it. But when you're up in front and you're talking, you're not actually talking to one person. You're not talking to many people. In a way, it's almost like if you were talking to nobody, or actually, put it the other way around, you might even look at it as talking to yourself. Did you ever realize that when you do a YouTube video that theoretically millions of people could watch it? That's a joke though, because if you look at the views, you'll see I'm talking about 7 or 8 people. No, but you know what I mean. That is out there. And when you're in front, like dancing in front of 700-800 people, like it was the last time, or giving a talk, even before a certain number of people, it is overcoming a fear. When I was a young boy at church, I was often asked to read. And that is something, by the way, the churches were a lot more full than they are now. But it doesn't actually matter. When you got to get up and read something, and you try and read well, and you want to do a good job, there's a certain amount of nervousness. And I'm not saying that I don't get nervous when I have to go and talk in front of people or something. There's a certain amount of I would say, positive fear. I think that in a way, if you're never afraid of doing well, you won't care. And if you don't care, well, it just probably end up being garbage. I don't know. So yeah, that's probably one thing. What other type of fears might I have overcome? I know that at one point in school, like diving into water would actually, I'd be quite fearful at a time, especially if it was high up. And I probably still would actually. It would take a lot of guts then, and it'd probably take even more now, which is I even see even less than I did then. I suppose that would be something. I have a certain amount of fear of things that go fast, like skiing, for example, or even going down hills with a bicycle. If where I don't feel completely in control of the situation, because I'm not a good skier, for example, or on a bicycle, I just don't completely feel at ease. Those are things that you have to master, but actually it's a little bit different because you can slow it down very often. So if you just slow it down enough, you probably will be able to master that fear. But yeah, I think for the Spooky University topic, I think that talking in public and so on, where fears that one masters and one masters it more and more, it does become easier over time. And like I say, even if you're on a in a stage or in an auditorium where there's several hundred people, or even several thousand, it doesn't actually matter. You know, once you're there, it's the same amount of people in a way. You know what I mean? It's that if you're going to make a fool of yourself, you're going to make a fool of yourself, no matter how many or how few people there are. And on the other hand, I mean, I guess the other thing is, like, you know, be prepared. And that is where I've noticed when things go bad in a talk, is when I'm just simply not prepared enough or not know the topic to be able to ad lib, because there's always something that'll happen, you know. So master your subject. I guess that would be it. I guess that's more than enough for this Spooky University. Okay, DC signing off. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.